All right, boys and girls, solo lane tier list. It is what it is. This is going to be for what you can play, what you should play, and what you could play. That's simple. We're going to go through everything. Starting off with the Achilles. Achilles is actually very good. I like Achilles in the solo lane. He can get nerfed, buffed, whatever. You can almost always play this, and he's annoying as hell. Easy to play. Only skill shot is an ultimate, which isn't even really a skill shot because you're standing in front of them just ulting, like while touching them. Achilles A+, easy, can play every game and have no trouble. Definitely not SS. D2R, definitely not SS. I feel you, but not even S. A+, can play every game. You're going to have some bad matchups and you're going to get clapped, but you'll be okay every game. I would not play Agni. I would not play MC. A Pooch, I actually can understand if you want magic damage, you want anti-heal, and you just want to be fucking annoying and play a slow game. Apuash B+, situational as hell. Amaterasu, I still think is S. If you get an Ama in a game running at you, you can't deal with it. CC immune ultimate, gonna be insane in every team fight. Has an aura buff to allow you to run at people, run away from people, do objectives, whatever the fuck you want to do. There's literally nothing bad about Ama at all. Nothing. You say AMC Sledge? Bro, AMC's just getting straight clappered in that solo lane. I'm just gonna kill you on cooldown. The thing is with something like Apuash, which is pretty much what he's always done, is he self-peels through damage. He ults himself, he 3s on himself, he 1s on himself, he 2s, and you're dead or you're running away because you're gonna die. And if you're building hybrid, you're building the HP defense items on Apuash, he doesn't die fast enough, so he's not even a kill target. So you're kind of safer in lane than you should be. Anubis, I actually like Anubis a lot. I'd say more in the A tier, as you could play it whenever you want. You're gonna have some really bad games, but you're playing Anubis. You're doing it for the aggression, for fun, trying to get an early kill and snowball off of it. And it's definitely more consistent than Apuash. Kwang, you're never gonna clear. I don't know why you would want to do this to yourself. I know some people like to do it to themselves, so we're gonna throw that in the D tier. Aphrodite, A tier. You just gotta get through the early game. Once you link up with your team and your group, you're doing the same shit as always. You're pretty much a hybrid fucking heal your team bot. Ares in the solo lane, a little bit harder to get away with, and honestly your transition into late game is shit. So you might be fine in the lane for the first little while. Maybe you're harder to kill. Your 2's obviously a lot better. You get your regen, all that good shit. But late game, you just don't do shit. You're an alt bot. You don't do shit. Your team is either playing a super grouped frontline run at you comp with that, which makes it super situational, or you're just not picking it because it's pointless. Would never play Arachne. Apollo I could see for fun, but not actually useful for your team. Arachne would never run because you just don't have the clear to keep up with it. You're gonna get focused, you're gonna die a lot. I'd put it down here, maybe above Kwang. You have better clear than Kwang with Golden Blade, but you're also insta dying with Golden Blade. I would not play Artemis. Artio I like a lot. It's just, especially with the mana change, they're nerfing mana, right? That's what they did in this patch coming out. They're reducing the mana cost, I think, so that'll become a little bit better in this next patch. Athena I think is probably the easiest to play solo laner. Level your 1, if full clears, you pretty much never die. I don't even know how you would die, and then you're a part of every team fight through your ultimate. So easily the most simple, I don't really know what I'm doing in the solo lane god, but you're gonna be useful even when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You just clear and ult into team fights, nothing else, and taunt people once you're in those team fights. Awelix, a little bit easier to get away with than in Arachne. You can get away with a hybrid build and still have damage. Your base damage numbers are okay, but still not gonna be that great. I'd actually probably put it in B+. I'd rather have Awelix in a game. You still get your front line, you still can do your job, you still have hard CC. You just got to get to that point. And Apollo's gonna do way better than Apollo. More on Ares level in my opinion. Akasura, I just don't see anyone get away with Baka. I hear people tell me, like, low level players come in and like, yo, I don't know what to do against Baka solo. I don't know how the fuck that happens. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I don't know how he's clearing on you. I don't know how he's killing you, trading you. I don't know what he's doing. It shouldn't be fucking possible. So maybe you guys can show me some shitty gameplay. I don't know what's happening with that shit. What do we got? We got Baron or Baba Yaga. I like Baba Yaga a little bit. I'd say Baba Yaga's A tier. You get away with it all the time. Your usefulness in fights is super limited though. You're gonna go a hybrid build. You're gonna go a stacking build. You're probably not gonna die very much, but you're just gonna be kind of there in the team fights. Reminds me of like shitty Umoja supports who just are there in the team fights but aren't actually doing anything, aka War Machine when he plays Umoja. Bacchus, get through the clearing, and then it's a little bit better. Your late game team fights are going to be good and annoying. I kind of compare it to like reverse Ares, where instead of being able to clear and being okay early, you're not. You're going to struggle early and be good late game. Baron, solid pick. I like his team fight. Hybrid, try to be a little more frontliney when you play the god. Don't sit too far back. Make sure you're in front of your mages so they can still do their job. And I like the pick. Decently consistent. You're gonna have some bad matchups, but you're gonna be okay most of the time. Alona getting buffs. Gonna put her in A for now. I don't think the buffs are enough. They're all late game team fight buffs. I mean, now you give magic power to mages. How often that comes into play, I don't know. So we'll leave Bologna in A tier. Bastet, better clear than most of these gods, but still it's just Bastet. You're either going full damage and being useful, or you're doing nothing, and I don't know how I'd feel about full damage solo lane. Cabrakan, the best solo laner right now. You can't even fucking argue it. You sit in base, you start with full lifesteal boots, you run out of base, and you full clear the wave with your 3, you max your 1, and you one-shot people. Literally it. Your 3 full clears at rank 1 the whole game, your 1 one-shots people. This shit's broken. If you are in low level playing solo lane, fuck you, Mamba. Play this shit, and I bet you win every single game playing this shit. Start full boots, sit in base until you can buy full boots, run out of base with full boots, go clear the way with your 3, hit people with your 1, max the 1, you win. GG. Kama is just falling off crazy hard. He's just not good in team fights no matter what. He just doesn't do enough. Okay, clear, just not enough. Kind of on par with these gods where maybe some situation comes up where you're trying to sustain through shit, or you want a assassin that can just kind of burst a little bit and you're going to go damage, but you could just play Wukong or something that's a lot safer and a lot better. Cerberus. I like Cerberus a lot. One of the better guardians. You do a lot of damage. You allow your mages to do a lot more damage in the late game. You've got sustain. Make sure when you're leaping using your 3, you have wards up and you're playing safe. Like I'd say, like you start leaping level 3, 4, 5, you might get ganked, so watch out for that shit. CERN, I wouldn't really play CERN. If you want to play an ADC, I'd like it more than I would not play MC at all. Like I said, I'd probably put this around Arachne, where you're just not useful. What the fuck is this? Get your shitty spam out of here, dude. You guys are nerds. Ban them. Chalk. Okay, let's put Chalk down into D tier because Chalk sucks donkey dick. He does absolutely nothing. Definitely worse than fucking Quang and Arachne and everyone else. Nah, actually with the buffs, Chalk's gonna be annoying. I don't think he's good. I think he's better in your low end bronze, gold, silver, fucking plat games. Definitely better down there. But with 70% reduction, if you're using your shit right, you're gonna be taking no fucking damage. You're definitely not gonna be carrying with Chalk, but it's gonna allow you to win the early game. If you rotate early with that shit, you can get your team a lead and you can actually win a lot of games. You just don't want the game to go fucking 80 minutes when you're worthless. Chunga's probably the only, like, playing Changa is solo lane is the only thing you could argue because it's a lot slower. You can build up, you can get away with hybrid builds, and it's okay. Fairly safe as long as you're using your immunity properly. If you get into team fights and you're playing grouped and you're using the sustain and you're playing long drawn out fights, great. Like if you're doing that, A tier. If you aren't doing that, it's gonna drop like down to fucking B tier. So make sure you're playing fights that way. Chernabog. Want a hunter in the solo lane to troll and have some fun, I guess. I mean, you're gonna have clear, you're gonna be very safe because you dash into the walls. You should never fucking die, and you get in every team fight with your ultimate, kind of like an Athena that's not good, basically. Chronos, you can play it similar to Apollo. I don't know why you would. This motherfucker, I hate this dude. S plus. I'd say SS, but honestly, the only reason I'm not gonna put him on Cabrakan level because you don't auto win the game in the lane off of the just picking the god. It's pretty damn close though. If your ult is up, you cannot get ganked. You are basically unkillable as long as you're using your ult properly in team fights. You have a spammable CC. That's a knock-up, which is the most broken CCs in the game. You can attack over walls, do whatever the fuck you want. You do free damage. If you're building hybrid, you are unkillable. And then you have a heal. Like, motherfucker, you have a goddamn massive AoE heal for your team while doing a shit ton of damage in CC. You cannot tell me there's some, like, this is just fucking dumb. Yeah, Ares B+. Oh no, Ares solo, late game. What the fuck you gonna do? Hit me with your chains like a baby back bitch and then we kill you? I'm gonna Nemalt your bitch ass. You're just dead. You're gone. You have no health. Aries doo-doo. Cucullin, A+, still like it. Just to kind of manage your rage is the only thing, and then you become a run at 'em god. Run at 'em gods in low level games get you wins. The transformation, early kills happen all the time when people don't know what they're doing in the soul lane. Solid pickup. I would not play Chiron, but you kind of could. I just wouldn't. If I was going to play anything, I could understand a Cupid over a Chiron. Still very low. Your transition into the team fight part of the game just isn't enough. But you have sustain. You're kind of safe. You have safer clear. You can poke at people. I just wouldn't play this shit's semi-fun until you start getting railed. You realize it's not fun. I would not play Dodgy in the solo. I would not play Discordia. Erlang Shen, I think, is probably A. Definitely A. Can't see it much better. You just don't do much. You're so much more useful in support or jungle, where early game you're running around and taking advantage of the potential pressure you can create. In the soul lane, you're just not creating that pressure. You're only getting like half of what the god's capable of doing when you play in the soul lane. Fafnir. Probably put it around Ares. Similar shit. Basically unkillable. But in late game team fights, you're actually really fucking good because you're a frontliner who buffs your team and allows them to do everything for you while also having a decent burst. You can also get away with going Sunder because you're never going to fucking die and you don't need to blink. Or you go blink and just run at people and be annoying. Fenrir, I'd say probably... I guess I'd put Fenrir in B+. Your clearing is bad, but as long as you aren't dying, just like most of these other gods, you get into team fights. If you're forcing beads as a soul laner, you're allowing your jungler to do a lot more. Plus, you're still just going to be a dive on the backline god, which you can do on Fenrir super easily. And then you and your jungler are getting free kills. I think Fenrir is probably not the worst in the soul lane. Maybe support's a little bit better. I would never play in the jungle. I think it's doo-doo in the jungle. You need to be tanky as fuck to not insta down Fenrir. Freya, I wouldn't play. Ganesh, you technically could play. I don't know if you would want to, if you're trying to enjoy yourself, but you could. Razy, how do you feel about that? Ganesh solo? Feeling it?
I'm feeling it. I mean, people used to play it like last player, so
yeah, until they realized it wasn't actually that good. You're an ult bot and a CC bot. You can make it work, but it is not easy. Geb, on the other hand, this motherfucker slaps with a hybrid build. Completely different. Ganesha is, I'm a soul laner, guardian that kind of does a little bit of damage, and then once I throw my ult out, I'm worthless. Geb's motherfucking ass is going to make you insta beads. Then you're going to get knocked up after your beads. Meanwhile, you're also getting rolled at for 800 on your one, even though he's hybrid built, and then he's one tapping you with an auto attack. Geb in the soul lane is super fucking annoying. Like Mama said, you max the one. That you're going to clear. You're going to be able to rotate around the map. Plus, after you do all that shit, you blink on the mage, you force the beads, and then you kill him, or your jungler kills him and you kill the hunter. You turn around and you fucking shield. Or you shield your jungler while you're diving. And your jungle fucking just jerks you off because he's so fucking happy. So that's a win-win for Geb as long as you know how to play the laning phase. Once again, same shit, different day. Guan Yu. I like Guan in the soul lane. Definitely a noob-friendly kind of matchup. Most bad players aren't interrupting your 3. Even if so, if you're smart enough to max your 2, if they are going to interrupt your 3, you're perfectly fine in the lane. You have a CC immune ult. It's the highest damaging ult in the game. Plus, you spam heals while diving backline. You can pretty much solo backline people if they don't have their Aegis up. Guan should be higher. F that god. I don't think so. I think for some weird reason, not even some weird reason, there's some matchups where Guan's like, yo, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. And then there's a lot of matchups where it looks like Guan should be okay, but you just out trade him. You kill him before he does what he needs to do. Or he ults and you get that little bit of distance, so his ult's kind of worthless. Or you catch him going the wrong direction and then he just doesn't do anything. Also the fact that at higher levels and even in lower levels starting, people are building anti-heal like crazy. I've pretty much been preaching all day that nobody builds anti-heal. They've started building it. See it all the fucking time. If you're building early anti-heal into gods like Guan, their little dinky heals just aren't doing shit and they're not reliable. So it makes a big difference. Hades, I would definitely put in S tier. It's one of the few aggressive mages where you could play, or sorry, few mages you play in the soul lane that's aggressive. You can build damage or hybrid. Nobody can fucking yell at you. And you pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And if people start targeting you, it opens your team up to do whatever they want. Kind of hard to play around. Really hard for low level players to play around. They get stuck in the ult. They don't understand what to do. They try to kill you and then they group up and then people get fucking 5-man pentakills off of Hades ults. Shit happens. It's wild. Hebo, I don't mind Hebo in the solo lane at all. You are going to be going for the full damage build. I don't think you should be going hybrid. I think you should just play it like you're a fucking mage, because the threat of your ult is all that matters. You don't actually have to use your ult until it's time to fucking ult, like until you know I want this kill. You could just have that threat of an extra mage with a one-shot ultimate in the game, and everyone's going to play a lot more hesitant. I like Hebo a lot. Don't see a lot of people playing it because they get fucked on in the lane by most warriors when they don't know their matchups. But if you do know your matchups, which is what I'm going to base most of this on, is you learning your matchups before you play it, or playing it to learn the matchups, works out really well. Probably one of the only like full damage, like I'm actually a mage player, like not Hades where I'm sustaining and CCing, like you're just a mage player, that actually you can make work. And it's annoying and it's hard to play around.
And hype sauce is still the bomb.
Thank you, Smooth Mind, for the 5 months. Kind of woozy, thank you for the 11 months. Good guy Matthias, thank you for the 11. And Texas, thank you for the sub. All right, you can play Heimdallr. I'd probably put it up here in a B+ for like the lulz. And if you go a hybrid build, it's actually kind of nasty. Just not that good. Having your 3 keeps you very, very safe though. You should pretty much be unkillable. Hell, I think is very, very good in the solo lane. Hybrid build. Nobody knows how to play into Hell. The anti-heal comes like happens. If someone builds Hell, there's going to be anti-heal. Or someone picks Hell, there's going to be anti-heal. So don't pick Hell solo when you already have healing on your team. If you don't, the Hell will force a lot of shit to happen. You need to ward. You need to use your early healing before the anti-heal comes online to your advantage. Be fucking annoying. Poke, rotate around. Does someone say Nike is ass? Nike's nuts. The fuck? I wouldn't play Hachi. It's just a waste. You could play Hera hybrid build. It's just going to be hyper situational. You're nowhere near safe. You'll be dove over and over again. If you go either hybrid or damage build, you'll get dove a lot. So you'll have a lot more death. So I'd say it's a situational pick where you know the jungler can't kill you. Hercules. I still like Hercules, man. I don't think it's great, but I think it works really well. Very consistent until you get to the late game and people build anti-heal and insta-kill you. So you've got like a solid 20, 22 minutes on Hercules to have fun, and then it's like, not that fun. Horus, your ultimate's just not getting used enough for me to have big value out of this. I'll say hyper situational, where you're just trying to fucking do a lot of insta damage and be very annoying. Maybe going against something squishy, or if you plan on ulting and rotating early as fuck into the mid lane, like level 6, you're using that ult to get across the map. It's never gonna happen. Unbat, situational for an assassin if you want a team fight ult and you want to just have fun, not something you should do if you want to win. Izanami, just not going to do enough for team fights. Late game, you are fairly safe because you clear so quickly. Isis, I would never fucking play, even though I'd say B tier. I would never play Isis. Isis is a lie. This god is a lie. On paper, you're like, shit, this could be good. And then you pick it and you're like, shit, this could be good. And then you play it and you realize Isis is fucking ass. No matter what you do, no matter what you build, no matter how the game goes, Isis is a doo-doo god that just doesn't do enough. Doesn't fucking work out. Don't pick it. You can play Janice, but you're just throwing ults around the map for the funds. You can play Kepri, but you're kind of not doing anything once you get in the late game. You're being kind of annoying, but you're also not doing shit. You do still have the ultimate, so your soul laner that runs at people doesn't do a lot of damage, but maybe you're keeping your fucking Kali alive or some shit, whatever it may be. Jormungandr, I think, is still decent and can be played, and it's going to do a lot better in your ranked and casuals than you see in comp. You just don't die. You force people onto your jungler and shit, or onto your mages because you're up in the air and nobody's caring about you. But if you're doing your shit right, you are doing enough to kill the backline. It's just another dive god. Skip the snake? I didn't skip the snake. Yes, you go damage on Jorm. You don't build defense. You either go heavy damage hybrid or full damage, because you're just trying to fucking kill a mage through the ult and then coming out of the ult and comboing with your fucking, what's it called? Your 3? Your 3. Wouldn't play Hou Yi, wouldn't play Jingwei, just worthless. Kali's very, very hard to get away with, kind of like Arachne level. You're just not going to consistently clear. If you do get away with it, though, you get to be an annoying assassin in a late game, but it's not enough to be like that frontline-y character your team needs. King Arthur's S tier, bro. You can't tell me otherwise. The god's unkillable because early game your movement is faster than everybody, because you're moving faster than having boots when people don't have fucking boots. OP. If you're maintaining your ult energy, you get a free fucking 3 seconds of nothing for your team to rotate to you, so you're buying time. You're sustaining the whole fucking time. You have a goddamn cripple It's one of the hardest gods to gank when it's matching damage, meaning if you're King Arthur and it's a physical solo and a physical jungle in the enemy team, you're probably never going to get ganked and die. He's just broken. Broken all the time. Not to the point where you just smash your head in the fucking keyboard. You have to know the minimal rotations that people try to hype up and sell out as being really strong. Use an ability auto, use an ability auto, use an ability auto. Make sure you're using the right abilities to sync them up between knockups and fucking spins and all that shit. Once you play the god 3 times and you feel it's comfortable and you see what works, easy pick and peasy. You want to say S plus? I think I would say S plus if everyone played King Arthur the way it's supposed to be played. But you'll notice King Arthur's win rate isn't crazy high because low level players just don't understand the synergy between the abilities. So I could say S plus, but if we're talking platinum and lower players, we're talking S tier for them. They just don't understand the rotations and the synergy between each ability. That's literally what it is. So if we're talking overall in the game, highest level player playing it, S plus, 100%. S tier if it's a doo-doo player. So I'll say S plus because I want to stick with it. We usually go based on perfect play and people understanding what they're doing. We'll say that. Yeah, it is actually platinum and lower. You might be talking A tier. That's why I'm like hovering in between. We'll do S plus. I'm fine with it. It's okay argument. Kukulkan, I wouldn't fucking do that to yourself. You're gonna die on cooldown. Kumba, you can do it, but it just why? Like it's not fun. You're not winning lane. You're not getting easy rotations. Your CC isn't even that useful because you're just trying to blink and insta kill the backline. Granted, you can get a lot of beads very easily, but once you ult or if someone uses proper beads, you just run around jerking off doing nothing, watching your team play the game. Kuzenbo, I like Kuzenbo. They nerfed the 3, which made it a little bit less annoying for enemies, but you still fucking thorns, 2 pop, run at a Hunter. Hunter can't do anything the whole game. So early game, you're just farming into the grouping up, run at the Hunter. GG. Loki, I think, is A tier because of his fucking high base damage. Your first couple levels suck. As soon as you clear and you feel comfortable, you just be annoying. You don't try to one-shot people. You don't try to do fucking crazy shit. You just be annoying. You throw your 2 around to be annoying. You stealth around to be annoying. You go in and poke and get out. And then you have a heavy AoE ultimate now that stuns. You can stun both backline whenever they group up. It's a very strong god once you get through the first few levels. Mercury, I wouldn't do. Just bad clear even with Golden Blade. Naja, a little bit better than most assassins because you have sustain in your kit. You're kind of annoying. You can cancel a lot of clear abilities. Still not very strong. Just is what it is. What did I miss? Merlin, you could play. It's a little bit safer in terms of clear, but not safer in terms of living. I'd probably drop it in B tier. Not really situational, just something you want to do that could kind of work, but it's not going to work well. Wouldn't play Medusa. Mulan is very strong for the first, 14 minutes of the game? So I'll leave it an A+. Definitely better than these gods. You kind of stomp for the first 14 minutes of a match. Then that's it. Then it's downhill. Then you're just slowly fucking becoming worthless unless you snowball in those first 14 minutes. If you're rotating, though, your snowball is insane. Base damage on the 2, once it's leveled up, so you're level 12, level 11, level 13, it does like 60% of a mage's health. You have to rotate into fights as Mulan in the solo lane. Start going mid lane early as fuck as soon as your 2 is leveled up, which should be pretty early for you. Where we at? Nemesis, a lot better. I'd say way more situational. If you're going for a kill a tank type of deal, or if it's just a tankier backline that you got to deal with, you can get away with Nemesis, but your team just lacks a shit ton of CC. It's harder to play, but your 3 allows you to just kind of have more leniency, I guess, in being dumb. So I drop Nemesis into super situational. Nike, I think Nike is fucking nuts. It's got to be the easiest warrior, maybe one of the easiest gods in the game to play. Nobody's going to go Sunder, or what's the other one? The anti-heal item? Whatever the shit that takes away shields. No one's going to go that shit against a solo Nike. It's just not worth the time. Because those targets, like a solo Nike's diving your backline. If you're a fucking support, you're not going to run back to fucking hit that guy with a Sunder. It's just never going to happen. So you have an unkillable ult. It makes you not die. The Onks might be in the game, but they're never going to be hitting you because you're diving the backline. You have easy mobility because they sped up to 3. You can block every auto attack while you wait for your 1 to come off of cooldown. So the Hunter can't do any damage to you. And then you have ridiculously good poke and clear out of your 1. If you're a mobile mage or hunter and you have a Nike jump on you, and fuck with you and then slow you afterwards, you're just literally staring at him and fucking dying trying to run away. I think Nike's very good. At the same fucking time, we're not talking about hard CC. We are talking about a god that once his ult kind of comes out, and if you avoid the one, he is just waiting around for his shit to come up. You don't really care if he starts autoing you. So it has some play around it, but it's useful the entire game, and you should never die in lane. Impossible to die in lane unless you're being stupidly aggressive. Neith, probably the only hunter I'm okay with in the solo lane. You play hyper safe, you keep wards up, and you ult into every fucking team fight. I say A tier, meaning it will work very consistently for you, but you are still a hunter in the solo lane, and you're fucking your team over a little bit by going a hunter. But if you can play Anubis and win your lane, you can play Neith and win other people's their lanes just through the ultimate. It is very annoying. Nox, I'd say, is about the same. You're just sitting there clearing the whole fucking game. Once you get into team fights, though, you've got to be one of the most annoying mages in the game with full cooldown. Nuwa, similar to Neith, play very fucking safe. You can actually clear from your tower with your one, ward the fuck up, make sure your actives are up when they need to be, and spam ults into team fights. Same shit, different day. This is more of a, you're just trying to have fun and troll with ultimates throughout the entire game, because that's all you're going to be doing. You're going to be annoying with that shit, but not that annoying. What do we got? Odin's win rate, they went back down, right? Odin's win rate spiked like a motherfucker, but I think it went back down. But I'm still going to throw him an A+, because you can get away with him very easily. Know your matchups. Don't pick them into something that can cancel your shield clear. And then ulting in a team fight, you force them to get a certain active, or you're countering all healing in the game and all immobile mages, which is a lot. There are a fuck ton of immobile mages being played right now. I mean, Nuwa, if the ultimate's not up, is fucked in there. People are picking Hera like crazy. You're seeing junglers that are immobile, solo laners that are immobile. Sunder for Odin Shield. Why? Odin Shield's on a 2-second cooldown. Nobody fucking cares about that shit. I'm talking about your 2 being interrupted before it does damage. So I put Odin in A+. We saw his win rate go up a lot for a while, and I think it went back down, but I'm not sure. Osiris, an aggressive solo laner. If you hit every one, you're useful. If you're not hitting every one of your ones to poke, can be annoying. You're worthless. So watch out for that. Another one where early rotations off of having that poke advantage in your lane will come in handy. You can play Pele and build hybrid and get away with it. It's just not really even situational. It's more of you just want to do it, but it's way better and more consistent to me than a Naja or a Bastet or any of that shit. What else we got, dude? Do we even put... I wouldn't play Oleron. Yes, you have your ultimate, but you're still going to fucking die a lot. Your ult on a long-ass cooldown. This bitch can be played everywhere. Like, you can't tell me you can't play Persephone in the solo lane. You just throw your little plants there and you do whatever the fuck you want. I'll just throw it in the A tier, but Persephone is the best god in the fucking game. It's nothing to be said. Fuck it. Poseidon, not safe, but you can have fun playing a situational. You have the lockdown, so if you need cripples, you can build Gem of Iso to be even more annoying and just kind of dance around with a HP annoying Poseidon solo build. Unsafe in terms of being ganked. You might get ganked a lot. Team fights, though, will be pretty fun for you. Raw, similar to Poseidon. You're going to get ganked a lot. Harder to kill you, though, because you're tanky as fuck with your 3 until that nerf goes through. You'll be a little bit less tanky. I would never play Rama. I think Rat in casuals and ranked, with people building the protections acorn that gives you 2 of your 2 and also heals you, is A+. Nobody's going to know how to deal with that shit. Like, literally no one's going to know how to deal with that shit. You think Raw in the solo lane is broken? I strongly disagree. Because your rotations in the team fights, yeah, you can use your movement speed to get around the map, but you're not going to be full clearing safely, pathing aggressively through the shit. Like, you're going to get caught. It's going to be very hard to play against good players. Not going to be consistent. That's why it's B+. Ravana, lower tier warrior. I just don't think Ravana brings enough out of the solo lane. You don't want to go hybrid. You just want to go a damage build and one-shot somebody in the back line. And Ravana's going to struggle with sustain. You're going to struggle with full clearing and all the other warriors. You're just not going to do a shit ton. You're going to be very, very, very average. Wouldn't play Raijin. Wouldn't play Scylla. Wouldn't play Berserk because you have no clear. Set, you already fucking know where Set goes. This shit's broken. Like, the highest win rate god in the game works in every fucking role except for support because you have no hard CC. Set, big broken. Big broken. Sobek, a very, very, very safe guardian where you're never going to die. You're never going to technically lose lane, but you're never going to win lane. So there's Sobek for you. Wukong, the other SS tier. These are my three that I truly believe are SS tier, never actually lose, and have the most annoying fucking team fights in the game where no level of play actually likes playing into it and feels comfortable playing into it. Easily like the fucking Soul Lane trio of death. Oh, wait. Ravana was a warrior, relax. He's played like a warrior, it's the same shit. Fuck off. What up, Hulk with a C? Thank you for the sub, brother. TM Fallgrim, thank you for the gifted. Where we at? I would not play Scotty because you're not super safe, and going a hybrid build on Scotty does nothing. Soul, you're not doing anything. You're never going into a team fight being super useful. The lack of hard CC or massive, really true mage ults that actually are just going to one-shot somebody hurts. Susanoo is going to struggle, bust it up. Definitely down here in the C tier. Once your hybrid build is in for team fights, you're really annoying, but that is super fucking hard to get to that point in the game. You will just be bullied the entire match by any warrior. Sylvanus, trolly as fuck. I see people go hunters so they can actually clear, and it's really annoying because the amount of damage, the amount of clear you have with just auto attacks other than you have hunters is kind of nuts. But situational in a way where you're like, I want a fucking healing guardian. Like, it's gonna be hyper situational for more fun than anything. Would not do it on purpose. Terra, I think the buffs to the passive really don't do everything. But Terra in the late game is a blink alt god where you build 1 or 2 damage items late game with full hybrid and you one shot for your team. And there's nothing the other team can do to stop it. What is this spam shit? Rocks. What's wrong with you guys? Thanatos, just not safe enough to be consistent. Decent laning phase. You can rush boots and just try to kill somebody and do damage. After you do that, it will not be a consistent god because people are going to know you're going to do that if you play the same people. Morrigan, I wouldn't really play it. I don't think it's bad. Just you're either going a hybrid build and become an alt bot where you can play something with a more consistent alt where you control what alt you're going to have in that game, or you can go full damage build and one shot somebody in the backline and have fun. So that's why I'm throwing in the B+. It will not be consistent. You will be ganked a lot. Erendite will fuck you. Every jungler will gank your ass all day. Thor fell off a lot, but I still think it's fairly average. I think you get away with it. Nothing really changed with Thor. We did see him played a lot for a while. I think people realized you don't need to play Thor for damage when you can just go damage on Wukong, Set, Cabrakan, that kind of shit. Would not play Thoth. Tsukiyomi I still think is really good in the soul lane. Obviously, you're going to be interrupted by your 2 a lot more, but you're going to be able to spam your 1. You are very frustrating. You should never die when your ultimate is up. Late game, you fuck over everybody. Like, nobody's gonna you don't die late game. You should never die late game. You can destroy the hunter with your disarms, or you can just clap and chase down the mage with your spammable 1 that has no fucking cooldown when you have full cooldown. Tier, still really fucking good. You can't tell me tier is not good. Even if your laning phase isn't as good as some of these other gods, your team fight is the most frustrating next to King Arthur, I think, to play against. With these gods, they're doing so much damage that it's fucking annoying. With Tyr, he's just doing everything. He's doing a lot of damage. He's sustaining so you can't kill him, and he's already fucking tanky. Plus, they're buffing his defense and his power that he gets out of his 3. And he's got a CC immune ult where he's either chasing you or running away and just trolling your ass. I think Tyr is a good tier. Would be a lot higher, like a truly like nobody plays Tyr perfectly, but a lot of people play it at a super high level. When you play against those people, you don't know what to do. And that's just rare out of a soul laner. Like, usually it's like, I can't kill him. Well, against a tier, it's like, I don't know what to do. Do I run away from him? Do I kill him? What do I do? No Thoth, no Ul. You could play Ul. It'd be better than a lot of shit, but it's still why. Like, what are you doing? You're not building hybrid, and late game, you're not doing enough damage. But Mana, I still think is really good. Probably way better in your bronze and silver, where you build hasten and people don't know what to do. Most people do not build anti-heal against just a Mana. Yeah, why would you play Thoth? You're trolling. But once you get to higher ranks of a Mana, people do build anti-heal. If Nemesis is in the game and there's anti-heal, you're going to insta-die. And outside of that, if you're not healing, people will just kill you. They will land their ults. Even if you're CC immune, they'll free land their ults and you will get stomped. You could play Vulcan just like you can play Thoth. I mean, I'll throw Thoth down in the sea with Vulcan because like you can play them for fun, but they're not actually good. You're going to die a lot. Even if you have the slight mobility, the slight self-peel, you're going to die a lot. Would not play Xbalanque. Xing 10 is a safer guardian, but you're an alt bot late game. You don't do anything else. Once you get to late game, which is going to take fucking forever because you're shit. Emoja Soul Lane doesn't really do enough. You're just not clearing. You're not going to be rotating early. In the team fights, it'll be nice, but you're still a Emoja. I'd rather just have you in support. Just throw that shit in support if you pick it up. Ymir a lot better than the other Guardians because you're aggressive as hell. Building hybrid, you're actually hard to kill. Plus your ultimate's going off no matter what, which is really good in team fights. Wouldn't play Zeus. Jean Kui I'd put an A+. Another Mage where it's a little bit better because you're a little bit tankier, but it's still super risky. Once your ult's down, you're not that useful. So if people kite your ult, use actives around your ult, or CC you during your ult, you instantly become nothing in a team fight. And that's usually what people are going to do against a Zhong or Donger. So there is my solo lane tier list. The gods that I think make kind of sense to be played. I really would rather never see any of these gods in the solo lane at all, ever. Yeah. Cuckoo with Blink and Horrific, or Med and Horrific, dude. So I will submit that. Solo lane tier list going into Worlds is up. Someone asked me to explain Cabrakan again. All right, so with Cabrakan, you start boots, full boots, right out of the base. You sit in base and you spam purple boots until you get enough gold. As soon as you get them, you run straight to your lane. You press 3 on the creeps. They all die because your 3 does a shit ton of damage at rank 1. Then you max your 1 after that, and you insta-kill people because it's on a short cooldown. It hits very hard. It's a hard CC, and your 3 is all you need to clear. So you 3 the wave, it clears. You want them, they die. If you're at level 5, you should kill most people. PS1 plays Scylla solo though. Yeah, he also gets carried 90% of his games. He's a fucking shitlord. Boom. Tier list done.